All right, in this video, we're going to learn how to shade spheres. And before you learn how to shade a sphere, you need to learn how to draw one. And it starts with just drawing a circle. But I highly recommend sketching it first. In my classroom, I will challenge the kids to draw a perfect circle with one line, and it's nearly impossible. You could use a stencil. Only problems with stencils is people tend to press hard, and then they have that hard outline. And then we know that any kind of outline makes things look flat. And it's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. Let me go ahead and put a larger one here, and that's the one we'll actually shade. Okay. Now the reason I have these up here is so I can show you what not to do. It's really, really important to know what not to do as well as what to do. And let me show you some wrong ways to shade. You'll get people doing this. And they might go from dark to light, but they're flattening it like that. That's incorrect. You get some people that do what I call the 8-ball effect, where they get their light source and they get their light area, but then they color this all in one value, one shade, and they don't do any blending. They stop right here, and that looks like a pool ball right there. Okay, so that's incorrect as well. Then, of course, you get the people that do this and go down there, and that looks like you're going down into some vortex. Okay, what you have to do in order to shade a sphere correctly is first you've got to designate your light source, okay? And then you have to think about the light spot on here. The light spot on here is nothing more than a large circle as well, except it's not drawn in the center. You started here where the light hits. And you draw a smaller circle right inside like that. Now you can also draw a crescent moon. If you look at that, you've got that crescent moon shape as well. So either way, either you draw a moon or you draw another circle, whichever works better for you. Be careful not to make this line too dark. In fact, I'm going to take my knitter eraser and lighten that up a little bit, because that's going to be a light part of the sphere. So if I make it too dark, it's harder to blend. Just clean up my edges a little bit. Okay, so when I shade the sphere, okay, I'm not using long lines like this. Okay, some people might try that. That doesn't work. What I want to use, try to put it right up here beside it, are short strokes. You look at that, those are short little pencil lines like that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Inside the crescent moon, I'm going to use some short pencil strokes. And I'm filling that in with kind of a medium value, not too dark, not too light. I can always darken it. And again, short pencil strokes. Resist the urge to do this. It's not going to look good. It's okay if they cross over each other a little bit. All right, now right now that's all kind of the same value. So since my light source is coming this way, I know it's going to be darker along this edge, and this also gives me an opportunity to clean up that edge. It was pretty sketchy before. Okay, back to short strokes. Okay, and as I go from this outside edge in towards the light area, I'm going to lighten up again. Similar to when we did the cylinders and the cones, you started out dark here, and as you got towards the light, you just lighten up with your pencil. And do that as well. And I'm just going to go around the edge and go from dark to light as I go in the center, and very short pencil strokes. And I'm going around here, keeping with the curve of the sphere. Going from dark to light. Now, to me, the most difficult part of shading the sphere is not the dark edge. That's pretty easy. Okay, but it's the light edge. And I'm not sure why, but I think lighter values are more difficult. All right, so what I'm going to do, again, going from the outside edge towards the inside, I'm just going to put little bits, little pencil strokes here, very, very light shadow, or value, I should say, very light value, light shading there. And I'm working hard to blend from the dark to the light. Takes a little practice, like anything else. All right, now I might want to fuzz out this light area here, and I use a kneaded eraser, but a white eraser will work as well. And I use that to soften the edges. Erasers are a great drawing tool as well. People don't always realize that. And you notice I did this without using my finger to smudge it. I don't like to use my finger to smudge it because, one, it ruins your paper. You've got oil in your hands and you're rubbing them on the paper surface, you're changing it. And two, because it tends to look really gray. Some people will use blenders, and I guess that's okay, but I think it's a good idea to know how to do it without blenders, because you might be working on something and a blender's not available. All right, so there's my shaded sphere with my light source hitting there. Notice too that that light source, or I should say the light spot on the sphere, is also a circle. Really important. You don't want something that ends up like that. All right, now cast shadow, again, go in the same direction, and it comes from the bottom where the sphere actually touches the surface. Now with the sphere, you have very little of the sphere touching the surface, and then you have an ellipse. So it's similar to this. The shadow's touching right at the bottom, and it's elliptical. And you shade it in like that. And of course that cast shadow is going to change depending on where your light is coming from. All right. Okay, let's try another one just to review. Go ahead, sketch in my circle. Just like that. All right, and I don't always clean up my edges when I start. You know, you can do what you wish on that. If you want to clean them up now or clean them up later, totally up to you. Okay, I'm going to put the light source coming from the other direction, and because it's coming from there, I am definitely going to clean up this sketchiness right there. Save me some trouble later. All right, so again, I'm going to draw the crescent moon shape or draw another circle. It's just off center touching this side. Okay, so here we go. This is a circle, which results in a crescent moon here. All right. Now again, it's okay to turn your paper as you work. My paper is taped down, so I can't do a whole lot with it. I have to kind of bend my arm and figure out the best angle from which to shade. Remember too, really small, short pencil strokes. None of that. All right, again, I've got my value in there, so I'm going to go to the dark edge. Again, short strokes. It is so tempting to go around like that, but you really will not get the same results that you will with the short strokes. Okay, and even though I'm going dark on this edge, my pencil probably needs sharpened, but I'm not going to stop for that. I'm going to go ahead and lighten up as I get towards the center. And again, this takes so much practice. Don't be frustrated if you don't get it on the first one. Go back, look at this video again, figure out if you skipped something. Hopefully, as you're working on this, you're pausing as well and drawing and then going back to the directions. I think it's probably the best way to use one of these videos. Okay, mine can probably go a little bit lighter in here. That could be blended there a little bit. You know, use your visual judgment. If it doesn't look right to you, figure out what you've got to do to fix it. Okay, going to take my eraser. This is a kneaded eraser for those of you that don't recognize it. It's nice, it's kind of stretchy. Usually gray. This one's a little blue in color. I got it out of a packet with some drawing pencils in it. I'm going to open up that white space a little bit. Now, I accidentally made a real division right there. You see how it's very dark value and then it stops and gets light? You don't want that, okay? If you were shading a cube, you would have those defined corners, but there are no corners on the sphere. I don't have to tell you that. And I'm going to blend that out a little more. And tap on it with your eraser. Okay, I'm going to fix this up as well. That was a little lopsided. Now, even though you don't want a heavy outline, you have to have a little bit right here just to show the edge. We'll put that in really lightly. Okay, again, coming from cast shadow, coming from the bottom and going in the same direction. Okay, I like this cast shadow a little better than the other one because they tend to still be horizontal. You see how this one's going down at an angle like that? That's not really correct. Your ellipse should still be horizontal. This one's passable, but this one looks more realistic. All right, so that's how to shade some spheres. Now, if you are working on this in my class, after you finish these two spheres, you've got a third one to do, and you can repeat one of these light sources, or you can pick a totally different one.